What I'm holding right here is the AEM Cold Air Intake. Let's go over what's included in this kit and maybe why you might want this particular intake. So first off, you get a sweet AEM license plate frame. Thank you very much, AEM. You have instructions, nice instructions on how to install it, and then on back they actually give you dyno charts of what they saw. Looks like an extra 22 horsepower and 13.7 foot-pounds of torque. Take that with a grain of salt. That's probably under ideal conditions. Now I'm sure you do get extra horsepower and torque with this, but I would always recommend a tune, of course, and then you'll probably see those numbers, maybe even more with a custom tune on there. This big, beautiful Dryflow air filter. This is kind of the heart of the system in my personal opinion. AEM absolutely kills it with their filters. In my personal opinion, they have some of the best filters on the market, which is why you see a lot of people running these particular filters. Of course, it is 100% made in the USA. They call it the Dryflow because you don't need to have that oil on there, which can damage MAF sensors or dirty up and I want to say clog, but it doesn't clog. It just dirties up and makes your MAF sensor misread. These air filters, now AEM says you can go 100,000 miles without cleaning it, and that again would probably be in ideal situations. But if you do live in a dirty, dusty environment, just check this every once in a while. But they're very easy to clean, very easy to service. But this will literally last a lifetime if you take care of it. Next up, this beautiful mandrel bent pipe with, of course, your MAF adapter on there. I love AEM's red wrinkle coating. I think this is one of the coolest things because this is such a close match to the wrinkle red coating that comes on the STI intake manifold. So if you want to kind of, have a really, in my opinion, badass looking engine bay, this intake is definitely gonna give it to you because of this red piece right here. And then I love the contrast that they have between the red and the black. This is your, what they call air filter box or heat shield box. Now, I've had a few people comment on previous videos and they're like, Rick, you're an idiot. Once you're moving, the air, the heat shield doesn't really do anything. And you're right, it doesn't. Once you have airflow going through the engine, your intake air temperatures should automatically come down. What this massively benefits, and like most of us, you probably have situations where you're sitting in traffic, you've got the AC on, you're listening to music. Well, what happens is as you're just sitting in traffic, that engine heat starts to build up inside the engine bay. You're gonna see those air intake temps start creeping up higher and higher and higher. Well, let's say an opening, you see an opening, right? And you look in your rearview mirror, put it in first gear and hammer on it. Those hot air intake temps can actually damage the engine, especially under high boost. This will help keep those standing air intake temperatures down significantly so that when you want to just get up and go, you don't have to worry about that heat soak inside the engine bay as much by going with a good quality heat shield. That's what it's for, my friends. It's not for cruising along, although these still can be beneficial while cruising, but you're gonna notice the biggest benefit just while sitting still. Now, AEM does include everything you're going to need to install it, and with their awesome instructions, it should only take a little bit of time. And then, of course, some nice weather stripping for the intake box, again, just to help seal off that ambient engine bay heat and temperature. And then, of course, a coupler to mount this to your, I guess you would call it your turbo inlet hose. And so it's just a nice, complete, full intake. So what are the benefits of going with an aftermarket intake? For a lot of people, it's going to be the sound and the looks because your factory intake is quiet as can be. And just by going with an aftermarket intake alone, you're gonna notice a significant increase in just that raw induction volume. You're gonna notice your blow-off valve a lot more between shifts, and you're gonna notice that turbo sound a lot more as well. To me, that alone is worth it, but you also get higher flow, a fully serviceable air filter, a little bit more power, a little bit more torque, and just a much cleaner engine bay, something that kind of stands out without being too over the top or too crazy looking. AEMs I've always felt have been like that perfect balance between, definitely looks aftermarket, but could maybe be stock just because everything is nice and clean, very well done, very well thought through. And plus AEM has been in the game forever, whether you run AEM electronics or AEM Aftermarket Performance parts. They're kind of like the go-to, you know, they're super high quality, they're priced right, and AEM just knows what they're doing. Anyway, that's all the time we've got for you today. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.